Good morning and welcome to Nature Watch. Nature Watch is sponsored by Wedel's Nursery, Floral, Garden, and Bird Center at the corner of 12th Street and Millam Road. And now your host of Nature Watch, Gary Miller. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you?
Oh, getting warm already. And you're probably your little almost Freudian slip there. I bet the Broncos wish they were playing in University Arena tonight.
Yeah.
Might be cooler.
Air conditioning, correct.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, my goodness.
But
the next couple of weeks, oh, my goodness, we're going to be very warm the next couple of weeks.
If you're going to the football game tonight, dress light. I'm telling you. And maybe watch out for mosquitoes. Like I was telling you off air, the mosquitoes have been avoiding me. Then again, I've been avoiding them. But last night, one finally landed on me, and I looked at it, I'm like, oh, it's a mosquito.
Yeah. I know several evenings this last week, and about dusk or so, you hear that little incessant buzz going around, and then you feel a light on your arm, your ear. Yeah.
That's my tinnitus. Leave that alone.
But tinnitus doesn't bite.
Right. Well, it bites in a way.
Well, in a way.
In a way. Yeah, there you go.
So unusual weather again. Seems like we're always saying it's unusual weather.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any such thing as typical normal weather or average weather anymore.
No. Let's look ahead, shall we? This will take a moment.
So I was looking at the extended forecast this morning and a couple news stations, and we are very dry for the next couple of weeks and very warm. Mm-hmm. And I mean, there's a little slight chance we might get some moisture, but all that moisture that's down south of us coming out of the Gulf from Francine, we have a big dry pocket here, and it's just sitting here. And if you look at the radar, there's moisture going way north into Canada, north of Michigan, and there's moisture south of us. We got this big dry spot right here, and it's just going around us. And
the folks at Channel 8 pretty much called that a few days ago, too.
Yes.
So kudos to them. I'm looking ahead. There is nothing that I'm seeing in the way of possible moisture until a week from Tuesday. And if you
it's slight chance.
And it's a slight chance.
Yes.
And if you want to talk about, we're getting close to 12 hours of available sunshine every day. It's not affecting the temperatures. I'm telling you that. 90 tomorrow, 90 Monday, in the 80s all the way through. Now, we won't cool off until Monday the 23rd at 81. And then temperature's going to hang out upper 70s near 80. Again, possible chance of storms Tuesday, Wednesday. Better chance Thursday, it looks like. Thursday the 26th, periods of rain. So
maybe we'll get a little bit of moisture. It'd be nicer to get some of it actually could be officially some fall rains, because next Sunday, the 22nd, is when autumn officially arrives.
Right.
And so that's actually at 8:44 a.m. next Sunday morning, the 22nd, and officially autumn will be here. I know everybody thinks autumn's already here. Sure doesn't feel like it.
And it'll be sunny and 85.
And then I saw this week, too, a little prediction for the winter. They're talking La Nina, and we may have some really wet weather this winter. Actually, it would be nice. We could use some soil moisture.
Yeah.
It would be nice if we had some cold, too, to knock back some of these insects, the detrimental insects, and some of these fungal diseases.
If I remember, La Nina does tend to usher in cooler than average.
A little bit cooler, but also more moisture. So actually, both would be good. We could use it, despite I don't like driving in it, but we would need it. We really need it.
I would get that Toro serviced. You may not have needed it over the last couple of winters, but you might this winter.
Or if you're a believer in Murphy's Law, what you do is you don't get it serviced, and then we'll definitely get the snow.
Okay.
Just saying.
Yeah. Right. Well, it's like my girlfriend when she goes out and waters her plants out in the backyard of her home, and then it rains.
Yes.
It's just.
I do that too. It's dry. I'm going to water the stuff. It'll just be okay. Maybe it'll rain then.
Couple of ways you can get a hold of us, 382-4280. We will have trivia in a couple of moments. You can also text in your questions to Gary right here at 80373. But when we do the trivia question, don't text the answer because it won't count.
We want to hear your voice.
You'll have to call.
Yeah. So we actually a lot of activity this last week again. Still seeing lots of deer. I know the other night I was coming home. It was dark, and I see some lights when I'm coming down the road near at the edge of my field, right by my barn, at the edge of the yard. I'm like, boy, I wonder what animal's there. There was a deer laying down there, right off the edge of the yard. It was healthy. It was just resting.
It's this winter or this fall, I should say, as we get closer to November 15th, which is Deer Widow's Day.
Yes.
Or Deer Hunter Widow's Day, pretty much. Could have a good harvest if people get out there and hunt, but I guess hunting numbers have been down.
Yeah. Oh, it could be Deer Widower Day too, because I know quite a few females that hunt.
Yeah.
So,
That too.
Anybody that gets out there and hunt, anything we can do was going to actually benefit the deer herd. There's way too many deer out there.
Yeah.
Actually, when we were cool here the last week or so, we had a few cool mornings last week. A little over a week ago, I actually saw a lot of squirrel activity. Very aggressively, getting those walnuts and hickory nuts, acorns, and burying them. And so we'll see. Sometimes that's a prediction too that we might have some winter coming sooner than we think.
It's going to go from 80s to 30s.
Well, it could, because I was looking at, actually after last week's show, I was looking at the Merlin app and actually looking at Birdwatch and the prediction on migrating birds. And actually there's a lot of birds already migrating. And I know a couple of weeks ago we had a caller call in about asking that they hadn't seen orioles and wondering about the orioles. From what I can see on all the reports, looks like most of the orioles may have already migrated or started migrating south, which seems a little early to me. But
well, the Orioles bats migrated last night for the most part.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Boy, he's on a roll today, isn't he?
Oh, boy.
Actually, we had a couple of nights, some of those cooler nights, there's a lot of bird activity here in Michigan. Flying. And most of it's at night, right after about an hour after sunset is when the prime time is. They fly. You might see them if you're actually out with some binoculars. It's sort of a really clear night. We've had some really clear nights. You can keep the mosquitoes away. Might see those birds migrating. They typically migrate at night to keep them protected from predators.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's fly into trivia. Told you I'm on it today. 382-4280. We have a $20 gift card as usual to Wedel's Nursery Floral Garden and Bird Center at the Roundabout, Millen Road, 12th Street. If you have one in the last 30 days, please do not call. Okay? We need to share the wealth with others. But if you have not won in the last 30 days, get ready to call. First correct answer to this question will score themselves a gift card.
Yeah, this one might be a little tricky because you're going to find multiple answers out there. And so I did a very exhaustive research and
you do this every week.
I like throwing a challenge out there, everybody. So I'm going to tell you, you're going to find multiple numbers for the answer because my question today is how many species of salamander are native in Michigan? And I am going to accept one number, and I will tell you that it's less than 100, just to give you a hint, which all of them Google, everybody's Googling now frantically. But I found multiple sites and listings of salamander species, and I kept coming up with the same number. So how many species of salamander are native in Michigan?
Now, if you just want to not even look at Google and just take a pot shot, call right now at 382-4280.
Actually, you might have a pretty good guess,
Right.
So actually, I thought of this. I was actually going to talk about salamanders a little bit. Several weeks ago, Andy called in when I was talking about lizards in Michigan and said that they had discovered some salamanders on a project site. And thought it'd be nice to talk a little bit about some of the salamander species we have here. This coming week, we've actually got some neat events. Next Saturday night, the last full night of summer at the Kalamazoo Nature Center, the Astronomical Society has another public observing session, and that starts at 8 p.m. They're going to be talking about the moon and double stars of summer. And so if it's cloudy, mostly cloudy or overcast, they may cancel. Check their website out after 6 p.m. on Saturday to see what's canceled. Mm-hmm. Looks like the weather might be pretty conducive to that.
Okay, there you go.
And I know a week and a half from now, Kalamazoo Area Wild Ones have their September meeting at the Portage District Library, and that's at 6:30 on Wednesday the 25th. They actually got a guest speaker coming in, Larry Cornelius, who's actually is a naturalist and conservationist. He's going to be talking about trees, their identification, their roles, and our relationship with them. So a neat talk about trees. And we have lots of trees here in Michigan.
Yes. And we have some salamanders too.
Yes.
I'm willing to bet that someone on the phone right now at 382-4280 can tell me. By the way, I am running a one-man operation today, so be nice to me.
We've never done that before.
Yeah. Good morning, WKZO. Who is this on my phone? Hello?
Hello?
Hello, hi, who's this?
This is Donna.
Donna.
Hi, Donna.
Yeah.
What kind of guest do you have? Number of species of salamander in the state of Michigan?
12.
Look at that, Jim.
Wow.
First answer is correct. And you always worry about these questions. I thought maybe it might take a couple times, but 12 is the correct answer.
One of these
Very
days,
good.
we're going to roll into Andy's show. I'm just saying. But yeah, there you go. Donna.
Maybe I need to make them a little more difficult or something.
Oh, whatever. Donna, you're my winner. $20 gift card for Wedel's. If you hold on the line, I need to get some information from you. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And
Congratulations, Donna.
We'll get her on hold here, and we're going to roll this and come back with more Nature Watch. Your phone calls are welcome here at 382-4280, or you can text your questions into 80373 here on WKZO.
Wedel's, your all-season garden center, has fresh shipments of colorful pumpkins and plants just waiting to brighten your outdoor living area. It's time to plant pansies for color that lasts now through next June. Get a 6-pack of pansy plants in your choice of many gorgeous colors for just $2.89. For interesting texture and color for both your planters and gardens, get ornamental cabbage and kale plants. Large pots of cabbage and kale are now just $5.99. Be sure to check out Wedel's selection of extra hardy mums, which come in several bright colors. Other great choices for fall planting include perennial grasses, sedum plants, and German bearded iris. As always, Wedel's experts will be happy to help you select the right plants for sunny, shady, or other challenging spots in your landscape. Enjoy your gardens to the fullest this fall with beautiful quality plants, as well as pumpkins, gourds, and so much more at Wedel's Nursery, Florist, and Garden Center on Texas Drive at the corner of Mill and 12th Street.
Listen to what those local folks are telling you.
You know what's going on in the more local level.
Kalamazoo's official online local news source is WKZO.com.
847, Donna, our big winner of a $20 gift card, and she told me while I was getting her information that she has been a listener from day one.
Oh, thank you, Donna.
So there you go, yeah.
I've had several folks stop in the store and say hi and say they enjoy the show, and I've always encouraged them, give us a call. Tell us what you're seeing out there.
Yeah.
If you have a question.
Yeah, and you can do that as well, 382-4280. You can tell me if you've seen mosquitoes lately. Like I said, I'm bragging that I just had one.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's got a big patch on his arm, too. I'm wondering if that was from the
Oh,
very
that
large
was
mosquito.
a bruise. I banged myself up at my day job.
You weren't trying to get rid of the mosquito and causing the bruise, were you?
No.
Those large mosquitoes.
Yeah, that would be funny.
So there's always a little question with the number of salamanders in Michigan, but 12 is the very most common accepted number of species. And I'm going to list them fairly quickly here, but blue spotted salamander, the marbled salamander, smallmouth salamander, the eastern tiger salamander, which is one of the largest and also one of the most common. Those eastern tiger salamanders can be 7 to 13 inches long. Obviously, a lot of that's tail.
Yeah.
But they're sort of black, brown, or olive with yellow or brown spots. Tremblay's salamander has just been found over near the Ann Arbor area, so it's fairly rare. Actually, I go back up. Marbled and smallmouth are also considered endangered species in Michigan, so not very common. The northern two-line salamander so far has only been found in one small area at Murphy Lake State Game Area in Tuscola County. One little area. That's the only area in Michigan they've found them so far. So might be just a unique population. They're not sure if it was native or if it was just somebody had relocated it or caught a ride with somebody.
Okay.
So, but it is this far north in Ontario, and you get to see them in Ohio and that. So we're that was the one that's always that question mark: are there 11 or 12 species in Michigan? So they're counting that as that 12.
Yeah, you just don't run across salamanders that much in my life, so
Well, yeah, and so the other species, the four-toed salamander, the mud puppy, and those can also get quite large, 8 to 19 inches, and the eastern newt, the redback salamander, and the western lesser siren. And that's also considered a species of concern here in Michigan as far as populations. So salamanders typically, they're in the amphibian family, and they lay unshelled eggs in water or moist places. Most of them have a larval stage that they have gills, so they're in water. So think of like similar to amphibians like frogs and toads. And then they change into a lung-breathing adult. They have smoother, warty skin. Most of them, the salamanders, are very smooth skin. They feed on insects, worms, snails, and other small animals, including members of their own species. I'm surprised they don't have a salamander called the Donner salamander. Jim's shaking his head.
I'm leaving that alone. I have to ask this. How do salamanders benefit nature?
So actually, they eat all those insects and everything. They eat a lot of insects. Okay. They're part of that whole ecosystem. Everything sort of linked together. They stay in very small areas, so usually they stay within about 900 feet plus or minus of where they are born, and they live in a lot of very moist locations. So they really like a lot of moisture. Sometimes a lot of them you'll see in wooded areas where you have wet leaves decaying. Right at the edge of some little ponds and that. Those small wetlands are very important for the salamanders too, because that's where they usually lay those eggs in. So the little wetland pockets usually are good species indicators of salamanders.
Salamanders are so underrated. You never hear of a baseball team named the Salamanders.
I think it'd be cool.
Yeah,
a neat mascot. Well, you got that insurance company has that lizard or gecko. It's spokes animal for them. Salamanders are cool. They're just really different looking.
I don't see any of our local teams changing their identity anytime soon. So there you go.
Maybe we'll have to start a drive for that. We want the salamanders.
382-4280. Someone stop this train wreck, please.
So some neat events coming up, other events coming up. Actually, next weekend, I know kids like seeing animals all the time. We're always talking about different animals. There's a chance to get the kids out to see some domesticated animals and not some wild animals. Wedel's has their petting zoo next weekend. So check our website out.
Oh, that is a very popular event.
It's a fun event.
Yeah.
So check wedels.com and the events. And next Friday and Saturday, we have our petting zoo. So take a look at that.
I am willing to bet that the next guest to occupy that chair is going to talk about it.
I thought he might do. I thought I mentioned a little bit. I'm sure Andy will talk about that considerably.
Yes, there you go.
So something else in the news this last week of great concern. The Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, MDARD, had a news release on the 11th of September that they found some more spotted lanternfly in Michigan, over in Wayne County.
There are road signs that I've seen, billboards that I've seen scattered around the southern part of the state here as I do my daily driving and all of that, and they're saying, squish it, report it.
Yes, and they actually did an extensive survey in 20 counties, trying to look at, because there were some populations already over in Monroe and Oakland counties that they detected. And they're very concerned about that because, again, the spotted lanternfly eats a lot of trees. The tree of heaven's their most common native plant that where they come from in Asia, that they eat. But they will eat any kind of tree. And the ones that they like predominantly are fruit trees. And that's why they're very concerned here in Michigan with all the fruit that we grow here, that if the spotted lanternfly gets over here in our fruit growing area, it will decimate that. So,
and we had a great season this summer.
Yes,
as far as the harvest goes. So
So they have all sorts of photos how to identify it. I'm looking for egg masses, so look for egg masses on wood, trees, sides of buildings, and also have some of the different stages of the spotted lanternfly. Go to the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, the DNR website, the invasive species site. They have all sorts of photos how to identify those. But if you find anything, or even suspicious, they're asking that you report it, because they are trying to make sure that they can keep this invasive pest under control. Very, very concerning.
Yes.
And so we'll see what happens with that.
Just a few minutes left here if you want to get involved, 382-4280, or you can text us to 80373, and I'll read Gary the question or concern, or it may be if you found something that we
Maybe
need to
their
know
fingers
about.
are tired. They can't text anymore because they're tired Googling for the answer for the trivia question.
Your fault. It's your fault.
Sorry. So with the salamanders, we'll go back to salamanders a little bit. Salamanders, newts, and mud puppies. There are 675 species, actually more than that, of salamanders known worldwide. And actually North America is the center of salamander diversity. So they generally have 4 legs, a unique family of salamanders called sirens. And if you remember, we have one of the sirens here in Michigan, only have 2 legs. They lack scales and claws. They usually prefer those cool, moist surroundings. And their reproductive traits are sort of unique. They have elaborate courtship rituals. They breeding migrations to vernal ponds and aquatic larval stages. So some of those species are very dependent on those vernal pools for breeding and display incredible sight fidelity, with many never straying further than 900 feet from their pool. So that, again, I mentioned, demonstrates the importance of such small, isolated wetlands, and nice to protect those. Something else we're starting to see a little bit this time of year, if you're out and about, you might see some pawpaw fruit. Oh,
It's such a good fruit. It got named twice.
yes, it did. Which is actually nice because this next week, on the 19th, is National Pawpaw Day. Not for the city, but for the fruit. And
I think Pawpaw's a village.
well, actually, it might be a village.
Yeah,
You're right.
it's a
You might be
village.
correct there.
Right.
Sorry,
But
my mistake.
anyway,
Yeah.
well, that's fine. I make
It's
that
a
mistake all the
municipality.
time.
It's a municipality.
Yeah.
So the third Thursday in September, which happens to be the 19th this year, is National Pawpaw Day, and it is that tropical-looking fruit that's native to North America, tastes like a cross between mango, banana, sometimes other fruits. And there's actually 60 sub-varieties or varieties that grow various places in the country. It is the largest fruit native to Michigan and actually to the United States. So they get all sorts of names. So here in Michigan, sometimes they're referred to as the Michigan banana. Just about every state is like Kentucky banana, Indiana banana. Sometimes they're called hillbilly mango. But you don't find them usually in stores because they bruise very readily. So occasionally you might find some at the farmers markets, but again they bruise very easily. Sort of a ugly looking fruit too. So, but you need a couple different varieties to get that cross pollination, so you get fruit. So we actually sometimes have pawpaw trees. We actually have some at the store right now available if you want to plant some.
Yeah.
If you don't have much room, you don't have room for 2 trees, I always tell people buy 2 trees, so you get the pollination. Give your neighbor one of the trees. Tell him to take care of the ugly fruit.
Yeah, there you go. You could double up your adventures today. If you have Wedel's on the mind, you could actually swing by the Texas Township Farmers Market just down the road from there as well, and check that out, and then go to Wedel's, or you can do it vice versa. The Texas Township Farmers Market, which Val is always on the show on Friday mornings, 8 to noon today. So.
Yeah. So if you haven't had a chance to taste pawpaws, I tasted pawpaws for the first time about 6 years ago. Fantastic. The descriptions don't do them justice. So get outside, enjoy the outdoors. Maybe you'll see some of those pawpaws if you're out and about. Get out, enjoy the warm weather. Might have to do some hiking in the morning so it's a little cooler.
Now, if you see something during the week and you don't think you're going to remember come Saturday morning to mention it to one of us, you can email Gary.
Yes.
At
naturewatch@wedels.com.
There you go.
Oh.
And you're there today, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, because you're suited up in
I'm
the
gonna
shirt.
be out there in the heat. Yes.
In the heat.
Yes.
In the heat.
Yeah. I'll say that in September usually, but unfortunately
we have been. Actually, the last few years
Yes.
have been, a little bit on the warm side, but there you go. Gary, thank you.
Yes.
And Andy, your boss, coming up next. And thank you for listening to this edition of Nature Watch. Tune in each Saturday morning at 8:30 for Nature Watch, brought to you by Wedel's Nursery, Floral Garden, and Bird Center at the corner of 12th Street and Millham Road. CBS and local news up next, and then it's Andy Wedel live in studio with Over the Garden Fence right here on 590 and 106.9 FM WKZO.